Roxborough man was shot to death on his wedding day over the weekend. 37-year-old Tyreek Burton died Saturday night after police found him in a parking lot at a Greensboro event center. A family member told WREL that he was shot after marrying Kiara Holloway. Authorities have yet to release any information about a possible suspect or a motive. Tonight, WREL spoke with Burton's wife's sister.
Why on the wedding day? Why him? Just why? He stepped up to be in my oldest two nieces' life because their dad wasn't, a part of their lives. And he got them, he moved them away from Roxborough. He got a good permanent job. And he was just, building with my sister.
Burton's sister-in-law went on to say the groom and his wife lived in Greensboro, but they met while growing up in Roxborough. They had been together for 16 years.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Man, Mr. Burton lost his life on his wedding day. I'm going to show y'all a couple different clips of what happened, why it happened, the reasoning, etc., etc. Then I got some plain old advice for you, just generally moving around in this earth, because people are shitty and weird. People are emotional and unstable. And it seems more and more prevalent. And it's a goddamn shame that it is as such. Tyreek Burton lost his life dealing with a woman who he finally married after 16 years. Salute to the brother. Had 2 kids with her. Took in her other 2 kids on his wedding day. Had some different information. He thought she left, so he went back to get her. Bust a bone or a U-turn. Somebody he cut off, not knowing, probably rushing back. Oh, shoot. Okay, I'm on the way back. The guy chases him down. He pulls back up in the parking lot. Guy pulls up alongside. Words are exchanged. And he shoots the man. The man who just got married that day. The best day in his life and his family's life turned into the absolute worst, man. It's a cruddy place, bro. This is a cruddy place. And we wonder why. The Bible say mourn when babies are born. And rejoice when people get up out of here. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most.
Yeah, Steve, the family of Tyreek Burton says the best day of their lives quickly turned into the worst. I spoke to his sister who lives in Raleigh, and she says she's just struggling to figure out how something like this could happen.
We were having the time of our lives, and it's like in a blink of an eye, it just was all just stolen away from us.
Saturday was the wedding Tyreek Burton and his new bride, Kiara, had envisioned. Dancing the night away with loved ones around them, moments after saying, I do.
He's one of the coolest people I know. He's one of the coolest people I know, man. You could walk into a room and that smile.
His younger sister, Brittany, sitting down with me in downtown Raleigh, telling me Tyreek was raised in Roxborough, North Carolina, along with his other 3 siblings. He and his new wife had been together for 16 years, had 4 daughters between them, and were making plans to expand their family even more. But just hours after the couple got married, tragedy struck as Tyreek was leaving the wedding venue. He was under the impression that his new bride was already home, and when she called to tell him she wasn't, he went back to get her.
He made a U-turn at the stop sign, so he never even made it out of the park all the way. It said stop sign at the very end of the park. He made a U-turn and came back, and I guess he didn't see somebody, and he cut them off, and that person followed him down to the park.
Guilford Metro 911. What is the address of your emergency? We just had a shooting at Barber Park Event Center.
Greensboro police responded to the Barber Park Event Center just before 9 Saturday night after a reported shooting. The victim, 37-year-old Tyreek Burton, the man who had just gotten married there hours before.
There are cameras. This was at a public park. And there were eyewitnesses, multiple, including one of his daughters. And it was done in front of his wife.
A tragedy this family is struggling to understand. Brittany telling me his 3-year-old daughter has been too occupied with family to ask where her dad is. And it's going to hurt even more when she does.
That's gonna tear Kiara apart. Words can't describe the type of man that they took. This wasn't no average guy.
And the couple were set to celebrate their honeymoon last Saturday, starting in Charlotte. Right now, no funeral arrangements for Tyreek have been made. Back to you. Yeah, Steve, the family of Tyreek Burton says the best day of their lives quickly turned into the worst. I spoke.
We begin tonight with a family grieving when they should be celebrating. Good evening, I'm Chad Silber.
And I'm.
Man, you can see that pain and anguish on his sister's face. Imagine that. He didn't even make it out the park all the way. The irony in that statement is he never made it out the park at all. God bless the dead to Burton and his family, man.
Sydney Moore. People remember their wedding days for all sorts of reasons. The love, the fun, the joy. A woman will now remember it as the day she lost her husband just hours after tying the knot.
Tyreek Burton died in a shooting on his wedding night in Greensboro. His family shared the whirlwind of emotions with WFMY News 2's Itanise McMiller.
The newlyweds, who dated for 16 years, weren't even able to leave their wedding venue before the unimaginable happened. The groom was gunned down 7 hours after saying, "I do."
Saying their vows during the happiest moments of their lives, Tyreek and Kiara Burton captured photos of their holy matrimony years in the making.
It was filled with joy, happiness, a lot of laughs.
They didn't know these photos would be the last they'd ever take.
It ended in tragedy. A random person came to this park, a public area, and shot my brother cold blood.
Just hours after tying the knot, Greensboro police say someone shot and killed Tyreek outside the reception at Barber Park in Greensboro.
It's supposed to be one of the happiest moments of his life, and it turned into something tragic worldwide. He did this in front of a minor. He did this in front of his wife with her gown on.
Brittany Burton is Tyreek's sister. She says as they were wrapping up at the reception, Tyreek left Barber Park briefly, and as he was heading back, a stranger followed him, saying Tyreek cut him off at the stop sign, so he shot him.
He didn't fire 2 shots. He didn't even fire 8 shots. It was in the teens. He literally had a hole in his chest over road rage.
The family traumatized and devastated by the turn of events.
And for the person that did this, can't even call you a person. You a monster, man. God gonna deal with you. God is gonna deal with you wherever you at.
Tyreek's mother is also demanding justice.
We want nothing but good, and I demand justice. I demand it. And I don't want to wait years for it.
Now the guests who celebrated at the Burtons just days ago will be attending Tyreek's funeral.
Greensboro police told me the shooting might be related to road rage, but wouldn't say anything else about a motive or a suspect.
Why him?
Dang, man. This man was shot on his wedding day 16 times. What is alleged to be a road rage incident. That's what the police have. This happened maybe 6 or 7 days ago at this point. I haven't seen any updates. I was hoping for one just to share it, but unfortunately there is none. People are sick. People are tired. There was a movie I saw with, what's the boy named? Russell Crowe. Right? It was with, I forget who the lady actress was, but seemingly he was having a bad day, was divorcing his wife, didn't have money. And she beat and cut him off, and he pursued her throughout the whole movie. Chased her down to different places she was stopping at, her house, his house, and it ended poorly, obviously. But you don't know what people are going through. Any and everything can set a person off. It's unfortunate that self-control is at an all-time low, man. You know? And then in the earth itself, you could argue it's the safest it's ever been. But don't mean people still ain't crazy. We got all these phones, all this technology and what have you. But people gonna do the things if they have it in their heart, mind, and soul to do the things. She said, this isn't a person, it's a demon. How could you argue her otherwise? And she said, the Most High gonna deal with you. I think that people often misconstrue what the Most High accepts and doesn't accept. We don't know why things are happening. He uses people for both good and bad. Remember that, right? We are vessels, right? We can be vessels to enlighten. We can even be vessels to love. We are vessels to destroy also. Everything that happened to us is part of God's plan. So at night when I talked to him, I got my gun in my hand. From a great poet known as 50 Cent. Speaking of guns, man, everybody want protection. Everybody want to be protected. Everybody want their gun rights. When I see things like this in a road rage incident, this is the one issue we have, man, is that people are going to resort to the maximum level of violence they have at their disposal. People ain't fighting no more because the gun is accessible and on the ready. So these road rage incidents escalate so quickly because everybody has the gun and that's going to be their first resort as opposed to the last resort. I've seen it happen too many times where nothing turns into something, because we have access to the guns. People are not responsible enough, which is unfortunate because I think we all should be able to practice, all of our amendment rights 100%. But when people have that gun on them, that's what their plan, that gun is in their plans. If any confrontation happens, you would think there'd be a level of escalations, right? But you don't even see it with the police. Police pull that burner first. In so many incidents we see, the gun is the first resort when people are threatened with physical harm and violence. Nobody want to fight no more. Men ain't growing up being tough. Ain't nobody running around slap boxing, going to the body, open chest. Ask your kids, ask the little boys around you if they playing any of those 3 games. That shit is out now. People letting that thing fly. They letting that thing go. If you carry a gun and you running around, I understand you have a safety, right? I get it. If you running around without one in the head and you expect that if something bad is going to happen that you're going to have time, you are uberly mistaken. You have to put one in your head if that's what you planning to do. If you planning to use that gun for self-defense and not de-escalating, not fighting first, etc., and people are out here threatening you and you want to protect yourself with that gun and protect your life, you have to put one in the head. You need to have some type of car holster where it can be easily accessible. Have your guns locked up and locked back and in the trunk, you might as well not have it at all. Because if you run into somebody that's ready to rock, this is what this looks like. He shot in that car 15 times. His mind is warped. His mind was playing tricks on him. That is demonic. I cut you off. And in one of the clips I saw, the brother Burton that you see here in his beautiful picture with his beautiful wife said, bro, if I cut you off, I'm sorry. He shot that man in front of his wife in the wedding dress, which you saw. Remember he grabbed the wedding dress in the clip I showed? That thing was 20 feet long. And in front of one of his children. All because of all because he cut him off. Allegedly. We don't have all the facts, but after 7 days, I haven't seen anything as of late. Damn, man. You catch him. I wish we could skip prosecution. If it's cut and dry, it is what it ought to be. Right? But what we also got to understand is he covered by the law. If he get arrested, right, he has a right to a fair and speedy trial. But I just wonder what would happen if people knew it was a life for a life. If emphatically that was the penalty under the law, that if you take a life, you have to give yours. What would people do then? I know you got the mindset, people like, I ain't gonna get caught. It ain't gonna be me. Nobody ever think it's gonna be them on any given day. Just like on football, on any given Sunday, on any given day, it can happen. Be prepared. Hope for the best. Live your life. Protect yourself. Men specifically, harden yourself as much as you can, man. Go to the gun range. Go to different gun ranges where you can actually be out in the field. Go skeet shooting. Train yourself. Arm yourself. Make yourself physical in an incident where, or an instance where you have to be physical. Right? Make sure you can get your family out of danger. I never forget, I was sitting on the front steps in my yard in the mid-Atlantic. We sit on the front steps. The neighbor's son out there, a car passes by. He stops. He say, you know, they're kind of talking back and forth. So the car is probably at this point 50 feet away from him, right? And his house is adjacent to mine across the street, like parallel, I guess you would say. Not adjacent, sorry. Parallel across the street on a slight 45-degree angle. The guy gets out the car. My neighbor's son pulls the hammer. It's my kids, my wife, and myself. We all sitting on the front porch. So boom, I get up. I'm just throwing people in the house. Boom, 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 boom. Her too included. She not seeing it. She don't know. Right? When your woman is comfortable, especially if you physical or you protective, they kind of let their guard down, man. Shit be looking like roses and bubbles. Right? I'm throwing everybody in the house, but I'm physically capable of doing so. Getting them out of harm's way. Right? It didn't escalate. Right? The guys drive off. So what happens next? I say, yo, bro, you know you wilding, right? No, you know, he was cool. Like he just young, right? Kind of, he got his son with him. So he got the baby still. I said, yo, put the baby in the house. They just pulled off. Right? So what happens? They spin the block. Okay, I get it. You ready to rock. But put your baby in the house at least. Stupid nigga. His mom come out. She grabbed the baby. He's still standing outside. The dude who hopped out the back seat wasn't even the driver or the passenger. He was in the back seat. So you definitely outmanned, probably outgunned, and stupid enough to still stand out there with your baby with you. I talked to him. He's like, you right. Put the baby in the house. Why don't you go in the house too? Why don't you get out of here at least? You know your mom in the house, your pops in the house, your sister in the house. Move your truck and get up out of here. My family across the street. Nobody ever think it's going to be them, man. Because you know, okay, your gun wasn't the last gun they ever made either, cowboy. And you don't know what people are dealing with and going through, B. Man, it's a lot of irresponsibility with the guns that puts a bad name on it. If you do carry, man, be responsible and be prepared. And at a point, you can only do what you can do. Rest in peace to this man. 2 kids with this woman. After 16 years of dating. Took in her 2 kids as well. Was married for 7 hours and lost his life. It's disheartening, man. It's sad. Over road rage. Check on your people, bro. Tell people you love them. That shit gonna mean something to somebody. Real rap. That shit gonna mean something to somebody. Check on your people. You never know. Just like any given Sunday, any day can happen, man. Damn. Hopefully, if there's any more updates to come, I hope they apprehend and capture the suspect, the person that did this. There's plenty of cameras, plenty of eyewitnesses. I know we got the license plate of the truck. You know, if anybody knows something, call in. I believe they have a GoFundMe, for his children and arrangements to go forward, especially since they just paid for a wedding. Now a funeral. He got a small baby. You guys saw in the clip. I think that baby's a little bit older now. That baby probably doesn't have a lot of understanding as to what happened. Of course, in one of the clips, the sister was saying she's so preoccupied. What happened when she actually started asking for her daddy? The wife, the mom, the sister, his siblings, his wife's family, everybody at that wedding. From the best day to the absolute worst, man. Whew. It's real. It's real. So, any updates to come, I'll certainly update you guys. This was in Greensboro, NC. Pray for everybody out there, man. They need it. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Be safe and do the right thing, man. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend and tell a friend. And I'm out.